The wind screamed across the red dunes of planet Taraxis. Heat waves danced under 3 suns. The sand burned like fire beneath every step. Kira pulled her hood tighter. Her skin, a soft purple, was dry and cracked from the sun. Her camel dragon grunted beside her, slow but steady. They were far from the village now, too far. She wasn't supposed to come this way. The elders warned her about these lands. They said strange things crashed here. Metal things. Sky things. But Kira didn't believe old ghost stories. Not until today. She saw it lying in the sand. At first, it looked like trash from a broken ship, scrap from the sky. But as she walked closer, her heart started beating faster. It was a man. No, not one of her kind. He had pale skin, wounds on his arms, black burns across his armor. His face was covered in dirt, blood, and sweat. And worst of all, he wasn't breathing. Kira froze. What are you? She looked around. Nothing but sand for miles. No other ship. No trail. No answer. She knelt beside him, touched his neck. Still warm. Barely. The man's lips were dry, cracked, bleeding. Kira's fingers trembled as she unhooked her flask. It held life water from her village's sacred spring, meant only for her kind. But something inside her whispered, "Help him." She lifted his head and poured just a few drops into his mouth. Nothing happened. Then his hand moved. His chest rose sharply, and he gasped. His eyes snapped open. They glowed. Bright blue. Not human. Kira stumbled back in shock, dropping the flask. The man coughed, rolled to his side, and groaned. "Where am I?" he whispered. Kira didn't answer. She was still staring at his glowing eyes. He looked around slowly, confused, weak. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't know what to say, so she asked him the same. You fell from the sky?" He blinked. "I don't remember." Kira glanced up. No smoke trail. No wreckage. Just sand and wind. The man was alone. She hesitated, then offered him more water. He drank it this time. Slowly. Carefully. But with every sip, something strange happened. The cuts on his face began to close. The burn on his arm began to fade. Kira's eyes widened. "The water is healing you?" The man looked at his arm, stunned. It wasn't like this before. She helped him sit up. He winced but managed to hold himself steady. "My name is Kira," she said softly. "You are not from here." "No," he replied. "I think. I'm from Earth." Earth? She had never heard that name. Not in any map. Not in any scroll. "You're not like us," she added. "But I gave you water. That means I'm responsible for you now." He tried to stand. Failed. She offered her hand. He took it. And as he touched her, she felt it. Something more than human. They began walking toward her village. Slowly, her camel dragon following behind. As they reached the ridge, the wind died down. The air fell silent. And behind them, deep in the dunes, something else moved. Not human. Not animal. At midnight, under a sky full of silent stars, Kira sat by the fire outside her small desert home. The human, still nameless, slept inside. Or at least, he tried. But even in sleep, something was happening. His body twitched. His skin glowed faintly under the moonlight. His breath came too fast, too deep, like a storm trying to stay calm. Kira stared at the stars. She whispered to herself, "What have I brought home?" After they returned to the village, Kira hid him in her uncle's old storehouse. It hadn't been used in years. She gave him clean cloth, simple food, and more of the sacred water. He drank slowly. His strength returned. Too quickly. By evening, he stood without help. And then the questions began. "Why do I understand your language?" he asked. Kira blinked. "You do?" He nodded. "I don't know your people. I don't know this world. But I hear your words like they were always mine." She stepped back, nervous. "That's not normal." He held his head. "Nothing feels normal anymore." Later that night, Kira gave him a clay bowl of soup. His hands shook as he took it, but not from weakness. They were changing. Veins pulsed with light beneath his skin. His fingertips were hot. She touched his wrist by accident, and it burned. She stared at him. "Your body, it's not human anymore, is it?" He looked at her, afraid. "Something's happening, and I don't think it's going to stop." The next morning, Kira visited the village elder, her grandmother, the oldest living mind in Taraxis. Kira lied, said she had a dream of a man who drank sacred water, a man who healed fast, a man who glowed. The elder grew quiet. Then she opened a scroll older than the village walls. "A stranger once came from the stars," the elder whispered. He drank from the spring. He lived, but not as himself. The water awakened something in him. Something buried in the stars. Something waiting. Kira's heart skipped. What happened to him? The elder didn't answer. She only said, if such a man returns, he is not a man anymore. That night, Kira gave the human a task. A simple one. Just to see. Put your hand in the fire, she said softly. He looked at her, confused. That will hurt. Will it? She asked. You healed from wounds in hours. Let's see if the fire burns you. He slowly reached out. The flame kissed his skin, but it didn't burn. Instead, the fire turned blue. The entire flame shifted color, humming quietly. The wood below didn't burn anymore. It glowed. Kira stepped back in fear. That's not possible. He pulled his hand away. His palm was perfectly fine, and the fire remained blue. That night, the human could not sleep. Not because of pain, because of the voice. It came from nowhere. From inside. You are not dead. You are not alone. You are the last spark. The final key. Wake up. He screamed and fell to the ground. Kira ran inside. Found him shaking, glowing, sweat dripping from his skin. He looked up at her. Something is calling me, he whispered. And it knows me better than I know myself. Outside the village, a silver machine unfolded its legs on top of a dune. It was ancient, half-buried, but alive. Its sensors clicked. Its red eye blinked. Signal detected. Human biocode. Activated. Class. 9 event confirmed. Notify command. Begin reawakening protocol. The machine turned toward the village. Toward him. Toward the spark that should have never returned. He stood in front of the mirror, breathing heavy. His reflection did not match the man he remembered. His bones felt too strong. His muscles too fast. His mind too loud. He remembered pain. He remembered silence. He remembered war. But now, he didn't remember being human. A ship screaming through the stars. Explosions. A voice yelling. Abort mission. Then a bright light. Then silence. He gasped, snapping back to the present. Kira was standing at the door, watching him. You saw something again, didn't you? She asked. He nodded slowly. I think I was in a war. They sat by the fire, the blue flame still burning from the night before. No one else in the village had seen it yet. Kira said, I asked the elder more questions today. And she said our water is ancient. It connects to something beyond our world. Some say it holds memory. Some say it's alive. He looked down at his glowing hand. I don't think I was supposed to survive, he whispered. Maybe I was made to die and stay dead. Later that night, he couldn't sleep. Again. But this time, he didn't fight the voice inside. He let it speak. Unit 17A. You were deployed to Sector Zeta 9. Final operation, Black Shield Protocol. Mission, delay enemy until self-deactivation. Deactivation failed. Host dormant. Emergency rewrite triggered by compound. Taraxis, spring water. He sat up straight, breathing fast. I was a weapon, he whispered into the dark. The next day, Kira searched the archives. Old storage data from her ancestors' scavenging trips. She found a broken metal box, half computer, half memory core. When she touched it, it sparked. A hologram lit the air. An old human general appeared. Tired, bleeding, desperate. To whoever finds this, the message said, we had no choice. We created sentinels, humans altered to survive any war. But we failed. They couldn't be controlled. So we ended them. Or tried to. Kira's eyes widened. The human sleeping in her home was one of them. Far from Taraxis, aboard a dark alien warship, alarms rang. A creature in silver armor opened its eyes after decades of sleep. The last one lives, it growled. We buried them. We silenced Earth. But this spark must be destroyed. Orders went out. The hunters were coming. Kira returned to the man, who now stood in the desert outside town, staring at the stars. He didn't turn as she approached. I know what you are, she said. You're one of them. A sentinel. He looked down, ashamed. I didn't ask for this. But now you're awake. And something else is coming too. He turned to her. I can feel them, like a cold breath on my neck. She asked the question no one wanted to ask. Are you going to stay human? He didn't answer. But his eyes, burning with blue light, said enough. In the distance, a strange object fell from the sky like a burning star. It hit the sand hard. Smoke rose. Then silence. Until something moved. Not human. Not friendly. The sand didn't move. It boiled, not from heat, but from something beneath it. Kira stood on her rooftop, eyes fixed on the western horizon. A dust storm had appeared out of nowhere, too fast, too round, too perfect. She knew this was not weather. Villagers gathered outside, staring at the dark cloud racing toward them. Animals screamed. Wind howled, but the humans stood still. "I've felt this before," he said quietly. "When death came, and we were told to run." He clenched his fists. The blue veins beneath his skin pulsed brighter. Kira looked up at him. "What's coming?" He didn't answer, because he didn't need to. The answer was already landing. A silver object crashed outside the village walls, round, sleek, humming with power. The earth shook. A blue shockwave rolled across the sand. From the capsule, 3 figures stepped out. Tall, armored, eyes glowing red. Alien soldiers. Hunters. They didn't speak. They scanned the village. And then they pointed, directly at him. Kira grabbed his arm. "We have to hide." He didn't move. "I don't think hiding will help now," he said. He turned to her slowly. "If I run, they'll follow. If I stay, your people get hurt." Kira looked around. Children crying. Elders praying. The sacred flame flickering blue and wild. She stepped forward. "Then I'll go with you." He frowned. "Why?" "You're not the only one changing," she said. "You made me believe in something bigger." He closed his eyes, just for a moment. "Then open them. Let's finish this." They escaped through old mining tunnels beneath the village. Kira guided him, torch in hand, down into the cool darkness. But even in the quiet, they could hear it. Thud, thud, thud. Something was walking on the surface, and it was not alone. Hours later, they emerged near a forgotten temple outside the dunes. Carvings on the walls matched the glowing marks on the human skin. He touched one of the stones. It opened. A hidden chamber. Inside, a round platform and a giant, rusted machine. "Do you know what this is?" Kira asked. He nodded slowly. "It's mine." Or it was. Suddenly, boom. The wall behind them exploded. The 3 hunters entered, weapons glowing. One spoke in a metallic voice. "Sentinel 17A, you are a Class 9 risk. Orders, deactivate." The human stepped forward. His hands burned bright. "I'm not a number anymore." And then he moved. Faster than lightning. Kira ducked behind the altar. Dust filled the room. Sparks flew. She heard metal scream. Stone crack. The ground split open under the weight of their powers. But in the center of it all, he stood tall. Half man, half fire. And when he roared, the temple shook. The last hunter tried to flee, but the human caught him midair. "I remember now," he said, "what you did to my people, to my team." Then he crushed the hunter's weapon with one hand. And the temple lights flickered. But outside, in orbit, a much bigger ship had just arrived. A ship the size of a city. And it was preparing to fire. Somewhere in deep space, a hologram flickered awake inside a forgotten war archive. It hadn't played in 412 years. "Sentinel Class 17 has been reactivated," the machine voice said. Across 7 alien empires, alarms sounded. Leaders stood. Fleets moved. Because if one of those humans still lived, then the war wasn't over. Kira knelt beside the human, panting. The temple was nearly destroyed. The air smelled like fire and metal. 2 of the hunters were dead. The 3rd had vanished into smoke. But the man, the one who used to be human, stood in the center of it all. His shirt was torn. His skin glowed from the inside. And his eyes, they didn't blink anymore. Kira whispered, "Are you still you?" He looked at her. "Yes," he said, then paused. "But I don't think I'll stay that way for long." He sat near the temple wall and put his hand on the ground. A memory surged into him. He saw himself in armor, standing with 10 others. All human, all chosen. Sentinel program, built to end the unwinnable. A voice had said, "We didn't survive the war. We became the war." Then betrayal. Then silence. Then, this planet. Kira picked up her water flask, now glowing faintly. "This water, it woke you up. But what if it didn't just heal you?" "What do you mean?" he asked. "What if it changed you? Into what they buried?" He looked at his hands. Fingers no longer fully human. Blood that shimmered like starlight. Strength that grew each hour. "I can feel something growing inside me," he said. "It's like, the more I live, the less human I become." Kira returned to the village to ask her grandmother again. The elder only shook her head. "The last time this happened," she said, "the stars bled." Kira whispered, "Can he be stopped?" The elder looked at the sky. If he still has a heart, maybe. Above the planet, the massive alien warship hovered. Thousands of soldiers waited inside. Drones scanned the surface. Target locked. Taraxis Temple ruins. The commander of the ship growled, "I want the body, dead or alive. Preferably dead." Then he leaned forward. "He was the last mistake of the human empire. And this time, we will finish it." As night fell, the human stood at the edge of the canyon. He looked down at the glowing cracks in the earth, the hidden machines, the long-dead structures beneath the sand. He turned to Kira. "They didn't just send us here to die," he said. "They buried us. Hid the truth. I was the backup plan. If Earth ever lost, we were meant to rise." Kira stepped closer. "And now you have." Suddenly, his body tensed. A high-pitched signal screamed in his head. He fell to his knees. A hologram appeared from his chest, unplanned. It played a message. From long ago. A human woman's voice. "Sentinel 17. If you're seeing this. I'm gone. Earth is gone. But you're alive. You were always more than a weapon. You were our last light. Don't become what they made you. Become what we hoped." Then the hologram blinked out, and the stars above turned red. The alien warship was preparing to fire. The sky turned red, not with sunset, but with targeting lasers from orbit. Taraxis had never seen war. Until now. Villagers screamed. Children cried. But he, the human reborn, stood motionless beneath the crimson sky, his shadow stretching long across the sand. He had a choice. Run. Or evolve. Inside the alien warship above, the countdown had started. Firing sequence locked. Impact in 300 seconds. Target, biosignature 17A. Result, total planetary sterilization. In the ruined temple, the old machine, half buried in dust, came alive. Blue lights glowed across its broken frame. The human stepped onto its platform. His blood reacted. His skin flickered. Kira shouted, "What are you doing?" "I'm finishing what they started. The ship is going to destroy this whole planet." "I know." He placed his hand on the control panel, and the platform sank into the earth. Deep underground, ancient walls lit up with golden lines. Machines thousands of years old were to life. "Sentinel core recognized," said the AI. "DNA match, 98.4%. Manual override required." His fingers dug into the stone interface. Sparks flew. His veins glowed. Suddenly, he screamed. Not in pain. In change. His body was transforming. Bones restructured. Nerves realigned. Light poured from his spine. Kira begged him to stop. "If you do this, you'll never be human again." He looked at her. Eyes no longer just blue, but burning white. "I was created to end wars. But maybe I can save a world instead." Above, the enemy celebrates early. On the warship, the alien commander laughed. "The signal is gone," the officer said. "He's dead." "Fire anyway," said the commander. Just as the weapon fired, the earth split open, and from the ground, he rose. Not human, not machine, something more. Wings of energy extended from his back. His body floated above the sand. He didn't speak. He just looked up and caught the orbital beam in his hands. The beam, meant to destroy a planet, shattered like glass. The villagers watched in silent awe. Kira fell to her knees, whispering, "He's not ours anymore." But her tears were not fear. They were pride. He raised his hand, and his voice echoed into orbit. "You tried to erase us. You turned humans into weapons. You buried us in lies. I am the last echo of that war. And I remember everything now." The alien warship tried to escape. Too late. He pointed a single glowing finger, and the sky turned white. A flash. Silence. Then stars. No more warship. No more threat. Only him. Hovering. Watching. And deciding. He didn't fall. He descended. Light trailed from his skin like burning stardust. Where once stood a man, now hovered a myth, reborn in flame, memory, and pain. The villagers didn't run. They knelt. Kira didn't speak. She reached out, but dared not touch him. Because he wasn't just a survivor now. For the first time in centuries, the orbital threat was gone. The alien fleet, obliterated. The skies clear. And the war that had started 1,000 years ago was finally over. But peace came with a question. What is he now? He could hear them. The ancestors. The engineers. The original humans who'd fused mind with machine to survive. They whispered, "You are the first to awaken fully. You are the sentinel." But even we, don't know what comes next. Beneath his feet, the earth cracked softly. He was no longer bound by gravity, time, or flesh. And yet, he looked at Kira, the one who never gave up on him. She stepped forward, her voice trembling. You came back. Why? He hovered inches above the soil. Then, he touched down and answered with a whisper. Because I remembered who I was. And who I still am. I'm human. The machine inside him pulsed once more, offering a path. He could ascend, become a god, leave this world behind. But he turned away. Instead, he walked toward the villagers, toward the people, and knelt beside the wounded. His fingers glowed softly, healing skin and bone. No war cries, no explosions, just light and peace. A child stepped forward. Are you a monster? The boy asked. He smiled. No. Pause. But I used to be. High above, the ruins of the alien command ship still glowed in orbit. His voice reached the last remnants of the galaxy. To the empires who still watch from the dark. We remember. We endured. And we evolved. You wanted to break the human spirit. Instead, you made it unshakable. He sat beneath the old tree where Kira once found him. Broken, half mad, nearly dead. Now, the tree bloomed. And as the stars shimmered above, a quiet truth settled. He was not human anymore. But he was what humanity needed next. The first of something new. Not their weapon. Not their god. But their guardian.